Hi, this is Reasons Are Several, a weekly Lori Loughlin fan cast.
Oh, going there quick.
Not going to lie, it's been a tough week.
Oh, boy.
This is episode 254. My name is Matt. With me is Neil. Hi, Neil.
Hi, Matt. How are you?
I am doing just dandy. Better than Lori.
No doubt, huh?
She's struggling. Her and Felicity.
It's amazing, like, how many big names, not necessarily actors, but CEOs and stuff, they're getting yanked into this.
Motherfuckers.
It's all about hard work and doing the right thing, and unless you're mostly white. And then it's about cheating and buying your way in.
Yeah, I think I might stick Photoshop the faces of my kids on like an old Tom Brady high school football picture or something. Be like, can you get him in? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Little TB12.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to go too deep into that. I think 2-on-3 Pod would do a better job than us, and I'm sure they will. So we can move on. But I did want to offer, Neil, my condolences to you on nearly pooping your pants at the Ross Dress for Less. I'm just kidding.
You are, yes. Thank you. I had to go.
Yeah, you did. Now, I wanted to offer my condolences on the loss of your kitty cat, Chubbs, which you guys talked about a lot on Dark Angels and Pretty Freaks this week. I was very sad. Is it okay for me to say how you notified me?
Of course. This is yes, you can, because we've talked about how, yes, by all means, please do.
Yes. I got a text from Neil. What was that, Wednesday? Maybe?
It was
midweek
Thursday.
Thursday.
Yeah.
In concert with how we notify each other of celebrity passings, Neil sent a message that said, "Hey, Mr. Chubbs." And I was like, "Oh, yeah, Mr. Chubbs is dead."
Yeah.
I still would like that to be the way that my lady friend notifies you when I go.
Well, I mean, that's kind of like what we talked about before. And I also, I'm a firm believer that if you're willing to dish it out, sometimes you got to take it or dish it upon yourself as well. So it's kind of like we joke around about other people and that pass away. And these people, sometimes we have some connection to them, whether we are fans or we like their work or sports or athletes or whatever. But obviously these are people that are sons and sometimes parents of people, and there's a lot of loss felt for their family. We make light of the fact that they're dead. So I thought it's not cool to have that and then not kind of, reciprocate it when it's your turn to lose something.
Well, you got to find some of the humor in there to keep yourself sane. That's for sure.
We've definitely talked about it before, but that's how I deal with a lot of stuff. And to me, it makes it easier because it's all part of the deal. Now, of course, I was heartbroken and sad, but it was that moment of, oh, this is kind of funny. I knew you weren't going to text back and be like, glad he's dead, stupid cat. I knew you were going to understand the truth behind the joke. So,
right.
Yeah, but it's hard. I'm sad. I mean, I feel terrible for Annalise because, she's had the cat all 17 years. I came into the cat's life later, and the little kitty, would fall asleep on her chest, and then they'd spoon each other all night, as I've talked about. But so for her, it's not only, the loss of a pet and the pet's not around, it's her nightly ritual is like totally blown up. So I keep telling her, I'm like, feel whatever you need to feel. There's no wrong or right. You're going to have moments where you're going to kind of forget and be like, everything's cool. And then you just feel like breaking down. Just freaking break down. It's cool. It's cool, man.
Did she get Chubbs in Portland? Did she get Chubbs in Portland
or here
and then moved? Okay.
I can't remember if it was here and then moved to Portland, or she's had so many cats in her life that I get confused on what cat came in at what time. But I want to say this one was in Portland and then here.
Just sort of vaguely remembering her Portland timeline, I think that would match up. I think that she would have got Chubbs in Portland. So Portland's a fellow Oregonian. Yeah. So it hurts even more for me.
Right. Yeah, well, understandable.
Well, I think that as is always the case with pets in this situation, it's he was not in the best spot at the end there, so it's probably
no. It was time, and like our assassin was saying, he's had a full life. You certainly don't need to be worried about making the wrong decision.
For sure. So, yeah, at that point.
But I mean, pets, they're, you get them so they can break your heart. That's really, that's really the whole point.
Yeah, it's a longer version of the Dimitri Martin joke about getting somebody flowers.
Oh, I'm a huge fan of Dimitri Martin. I can't say Dimitri Martin, but I don't know the joke.
Oh, the joke is when you give somebody flowers, it's, I like you. Now watch these die.
That's good. I do like Dimitri. I like me some Dimitri Martin.
He's pretty damn funny. Yeah. So how was the rest of your weekend? Because you were on fire on your podcast.
So it's funny because a couple people chimed in the live chat and also had fun on Twitter and texted me afterwards going like, wow, you sounded like you were happy and having a good time. So here's the cool thing. One of the really cool things about my head injury and the concussion thing and the side effects is it doesn't take me a lot of alcohol to get loopy.
You're a lightweight.
So I can get like that. But like I was sober by the end of the night and felt totally fine the next day.
Yeah, day drinking.
It's awesome. It's great. It was good. The rest of Saturday was fun from what I remember of it. No, I'm joking. And no, it was a fun Saturday. And the cool thing was we were blowing off a little steam obviously because of Mr. Chubbers.
Sure.
Not that it's good to use alcohol for that reason, but
Not
we went out
necessarily.
and kind of just chilled and had fun.
Good.
Yeah. Then I got pissed because the cat across the street, the little bastard?
Started
name?
like prancing around
Pepper.
on fucking Chubb's
Pepper
old
started
turf.
started coming up our walkway, which
that.
would never do because Chubbs would beat him up or make him jump over the fence and have our dogs beat him up. And now he was like all prancing. I opened up the door and yelled at him. Drunk yelled at him.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah, I did.
Take one of the
Get
dogs
off my
out
lawn.
there.
I quote unquote got off my lawn to cat.
It's like Ice Cube in Boys in the Hood. You lift up the shirt. Got a problem here?
That's right.
So
yeah, because they don't like love handles. Cats are terrified of love handles.
I drank both nights this weekend. That's rare.
Oh, really?
I usually don't drink both nights.
You just get it all in one.
Yeah, or none. I mean, I don't,
Yeah, you don't actually drink that much, but
I don't
you
drink
make
a ton,
up for it
but
when
when I do, I get after it.
Yeah.
Well, I had hockey Friday night, and then we went and had a bunch of beers after and all that. So that was pretty tame. But then the next day, we had a birthday party for one of my best friend's girlfriend, turned 40.
Oh, nice.
So we went to this place. It was kind of swanky and a cool spot downtown. And we were having fun. And it was funny because I got an old-fashioned to start the night.
Nice.
And the lady friend just gave me the side eye like, are you fucking kidding me? We're going to do this.
Here we go. Yeah.
And I said, I'm switching to beer next. I always like to start my night with a nice old fashioned and get the ball rolling, and then I go back to beer.
Now, when your lady gives you, your lady friend gives you the side eye, is it like a quick side eye, or is it followed by like more sideways face? And do you actually need to say something, or is it just quick? You acknowledge it, and she's done.
Oh, it's just a few seconds,
Yeah.
and then later I'll say something to her.
Because Annalise's side eye is not quick at all. It's there, and then you look at her, and then she gives you a look.
Waiting to be acknowledged.
Yeah, and then you're like, what? And then she's like, ugh. And then she turns. Yeah, and I'm like, we just spent a whole 25 seconds on this.
Why
now
you staring,
everybody
man?
knows. Totally. Now everybody knows. It's okay if I know. I don't want everybody to know.
Yeah, so I proceeded to just crush a million IPAs after that. We're playing a lot of pool and stuff and having fun. So
How'd you do in pool?
well, we did well. Me and my buddy Jason were both wearing plaid shirts.
Oh,
so we were
nice.
team plaid. We were just fucking rolling. I think we only lost once.
Nice.
So anyway, the funny thing was we played singles to start, and we were fucking awful against each other. So we're like, well, I guess we'll play doubles now. And we
when you play singles, does that mean like you have to play somebody who's single?
No,
That would be good.
You're playing 1-on-1, like the Hall & Oates song.
We have to go when we go back for our second Oregon game. We have to go to that bar. Although they don't have pool.
They don't, but we'll go to another bar that does.
We should just say, hey, we're only playing singles. And of course, we're 3 times your age. Just playing singles tonight.
You're going to be so uncomfortable
singles.
again. We're only going to day drink at Max's, I think. We'll go somewhere else later.
Okay. Well,
Because you're going to get uncomfortable.
Well, now that I know, I've talked to a lot of people about this.
Yeah? Your therapist?
Yes. And now that I know, I think I can handle it a little bit better.
Well, that's good. I'm relieved to know that.
Yeah.
But
I did okay. I mean, we hung out. We had a good time.
we did great. We had a fun time. Yeah.
I just made you drink a ton because I couldn't handle being sober in there.
Just kept crushing.
But I'm sorry, but go on. Let's talk about your time with your other friend.
Well, then we get to the end. So we started, the party was at like 6.
Yeah.
Started early. So,
Nice. It's my kind of party.
well, and then we were there till, I don't know, 11, 11:30.
Oh,
I mean, so we were there a
tough.
long time, a lot of drinking.
That's a
They had
lot of
awesome food. Didn't eat enough food. Of course, should have ate more food. But we get to the end and they're like, let's go.
That's some serious coin to drop for that much drinking.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, oh, yeah. Particularly since it was being hosted by my buddy.
Right.
I was like, oh, shit, I should have given him like $100 when I walked out.
Yeah.
So anyway, they're like, oh, well, we're going to go up the street to the dive bar called Suki's. Like, oh. Now, this is the point of the night, and a decision should be made at that point. I think we're done here.
Right.
We should go home.
Yeah.
Because it's 11:30, and you don't need to drink anymore, and you certainly don't need to go to another bar. So we got there, and I don't know how to say this, Neil.
Isn't it, wait, before you do, isn't it weird how when you're tipsy and you're like, I know I'm not going to feel great tomorrow, but I'm having so much fun.
Oh, everything's
Let's
a great
keep it going.
Yeah, fuck. Why would we stop now?
Why don't we carry something in our wallets or in like with us that just, we're like, I got to read this real quick. And it says like, dumbass, you're having a great time. Just stop now.
Because you would take it and wad it up and throw it in the trash.
Yeah, like, or show it like, we're going to put this in a drink and drink it. Whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
or
go on.
Smoke it. Fuck you, sober self.
So
we're going to party.
So tell me.
I sang Faithfully again.
How did you do?
Not as well.
Really?
Well, so here's the thing. The gal whose birthday it was, she and my buddy, they were the ones with us when I did it, when I had that huge karaoke night that one night at that other
did
bar.
they set you up?
So she was like, you got to sing Faithfully.
Yeah, they set you up.
Shit. And the thing is, you can't, I've said this before, you can't recreate the magic. Suki's is the same place where I just destroyed Rebel Yell.
Nice.
Tried to recreate it months later.
No.
Couldn't do it.
No.
The crowd wasn't feeling it like they were the first time. So I think you got to, when you deliver on a song, you got to just let that go, and then you need to move on to another song.
That's it. The only time I think you can recreate the magic, and again, you're talking to someone who doesn't do karaoke, but has seen karaoke and seen other people do it. I think the only time you can recreate the magic is if, like, you're going up there thinking, let's say you nailed Rebel Yell months ago or a year ago, and then you're going up thinking you're going to sing White Wedding, and accidentally Rebel Yell, they pull up Rebel Yell, or
so you just jump right in it.
You're going in to think you're going to sing, I don't know, whatever, something totally different.
Probably not Rock the Cradle of Love, because that's inappropriate at this point.
Right. Well, you never know. And then they pull up Rebel Yell, and you just happen to, you're like, oh no, but I already did that. And it's kind of like you fumble into it, and then everyone's like, you killed it again. I think that's the only way. But you can't, because if you go up there knowing, oh, I nailed this song, I can do it again.
You look a little arrogant.
Not only that, but a lot of the times you'll rush because you're thinking, I want to get that crowd. That used to be one thing on the songs I knew I was really good at singing, or the songs I really like to play. I'd rush because I knew we were going to get a good reaction, and then I'd kill the song because it's like I just didn't let it
in a bad way. Kill the song.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So
it's tough.
Did you start too high again, or did you?
No, and I think when I started out, everybody was kind of into it, and I in retrospect, it probably was fine. It's just not as good.
Oh no,
it
wasn't. It wasn't. It was not fine. I'll tell you right now. It was.
Well,
I wasn't even.
Put it this way: Lady Friend came up early in the song and to like hang out with me while I sang it, because I think maybe she could either sense that I was struggling or in some way, or I don't know. Then it turned into this weird like
it was support.
Well, then it turned into this weird thing. It was like that scene. I don't know if you remember that in the Corey's show when he's singing to his wife. Like I wasn't quite singing to her, but she was right there. And then it even looked worse.
Was she singing along? She grab a mic and sing with you?
I think she sang a little on the chorus, but she was kind of staying away from it. She knew knew she shouldn't be singing.
No, she was trying to save you. That was nice of her. She was. You know what? She wasn't trying to save you. She was willing to take the dumping with you.
Yes,
that's
cool.
So. Annalise would have looked, pointed at me, laughed, give me side eye, and then went to the bar and got a drink. And I'm joking. She's been to plenty of my show that I did not deliver. Plenty of mine that I've oversold and underdelivered.
I'm sad I've never seen you perform. It's gonna have to happen sometime. I will never, by the way, and don't you ever to me, throw your fucking name in a goddamn karaoke queue.
I would never do that.
I think that is one of the rudest things you can do to somebody.
I think you know me well enough to know I'm not a surprise you're it kind of friend. I'm more. I'll try to convince you.
Yeah,
I'll work my ass off to convince. I'll pay you. I'll do.
I need to be willing.
Right, but I would never. The only time I would do something like that is if it's something I knew you absolutely liked. Like if they're like, Matt, is there a Matt out there? You get to drive this Lamborghini in autocross for free, and you're like, oh yeah, cool,
right?
Where it's a gift, but I wouldn't not to embarrass. Like, oh, I got you a lap dance, bro. I'm not.
Yeah, right.
Not that guy.
Exactly. Yeah. Too bad you're stuck
this
now.
This is Chip. Enjoy, bro.
So then we were not there terribly. Well, we were probably there an hour and a half, I guess. And then we left. Yeah. Oh, God. And then we left and Came home, and it was funny because one of our friends, this gal who lives kind of by us, she was in the car with us. And the whole way back, she's just talking to the Uber driver going, I can't remember his name, but let's say his name is Trevor.
Okay.
So she's like...
Not Daniel?
Trevor. Not Daniel this time.
Okay.
Trevor, you ever had a hot dog from 7-Eleven? They're actually fucking good.
Oh, no.
She's talking it up the whole time. So we stopped at 7-Eleven. She got a 7-Eleven hot dog.
Oh, no, that's awesome.
They're so gross.
They are so nasty.
Lady friend and I skipped that because we were at that point like a minute from our house. So we went into our house, relieved my dad of babysitting duties, and then just proceeded to try to like eat everything in the house.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's how.
And then I was very sluggish the next day. So, and then saw Captain Marvel on Sunday.
Oh, how was it?
I liked it.
Good.
There were parts of the like maybe last act that I was kind of like, but overall, I thought it was good. Had a lot of funny bits in it too. So I think it's worth seeing. Not that you'll ever see it, but you know.
I will see Captain Marvel because I have to. So here's the thing. I have a goal. I have a relationship goal for us for when we are in Oregon.
Okay.
You're going to bring your guitar. I am going to teach you faithfully.
Is that a hard one to play or is that easy?
No. I'm gonna. It's not only the chords are. I mean, we're not gonna do like the actual guitar solo and all that, but just open chords, and I will teach it to you, and you will be able to then surprise your lady friend. I just want like a weird Wednesday night when the kids sit down. You just whip out your guitar and you just highway run, and just see her reaction.
All right, I'm in.
And even better, one day, what I'd like you to do is there's karaoke, and you just take your guitar, and you're like, just shut the shit off. I got this.
Yeah. I don't. Yeah. Turn the music down.
So it's turning into open mic night.
I'm going a cappella here.
Yeah.
I will have to look up the chords that are required to play the song, so I can at least do a little bit of work prior to Eugene, so that I have some physical dexterity to handle those chords.
Right, and I have if some of them it is tough, I have a cheat that will make it even easier. So
okay, yeah, perfect. Well, speaking of Suki's, let's go to the Yelp desk.
Yelp desk.
As I mentioned, total dive bar. Very much karaoke is kind of the scene. Like you go in there, I think at least on the weekends. I don't know if it is during the week, but it's a bar we've been to a number of times. I've unfortunately sang karaoke there a number of times. I mentioned Rebel Yell, which I did twice there.
With a rebel. Do you do the growl? I didn't ask. Do you?
Oh, I do the whole thing.
Nice.
I punch too.
Oh, dude, I gotta see. Will you please? Can we do karaoke once so I can just watch this?
You'll end up filming it and putting it on.
No, I would never. Again, I would never do that. That's not that wouldn't be fun. I think film it and then show you later and say, "Can I put this up?" And if you said no, I wouldn't.
Yeah, and I think the second time I did Rebel Yell, I might have started the punching too early. That was one of my faults.
Yeah, see, you rush it because you want to get to that. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's when somebody knows the song because they're doing all the grunts and groans, not just the words that are on the screen. So that is definitely what I do with Rebel Yell.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah. And it's hard because he's a good screamer. And
one of the best.
My voice is not good. So anyway.
And you don't want to scream and then be shot for the rest of the song.
Right.
Yeah.
I think at another time I was there, my buddy's girlfriend might have pulled that number on me where she signed me up and then she wanted a duet with me and we sang some fucking U2 song.
Wow.
Yeah. Not a good idea. Anyway, Rochelle, R-A, capital R, little a, capital C, Helle. So it almost looks like Rachel, but it's got to be Rochelle.
Yeah. There's an E at the end?
There's an E at the end.
Yeah.
This is fairly short. This is from about 2 years ago, April 2016. I do not know who the KJ was last night. Now, I had to take a look at a number of...
Is that like Ray J?
Karaoke jockey, I guess is what they're saying.
Oh, nice.
So I didn't know what the fuck these people were talking about. I read like 16 different reviews of this place because there's a lot of one-star reviews.
I
had to pick between about 3 or 4 different ones. But I kept seeing KJ, and I finally figured out, I was like, oh, it must be karaoke jockey.
Yeah.
So she did not know who the KJ was last night. But he treated me like absolute trash. I have no idea why. I have no desire to ever go back unless the bar wants to make it up to me.
Oh, I like this. Is a good one.
What are you thinking, Rochelle? What did you have in mind?
Yeah. Free drinks and 3 karaoke songs an hour just for me. And I can do Adele as much as I want.
Tonight's Rochelle night. Yeah. All right, everybody? He tried to cover it up. When my friend let him know that she was a hotel customer, he changed his tune and said he was joking. Now, here's the best part about that. This bar is underneath a travel lodge.
A hotel customer. Wait a minute. Underneath a travel lodge?
Yes.
Like in the basement?
Well, so it's the travel lodge is like the second and third story.
Oh,
and the
okay.
Suki is the main level.
I like how in my head I'm like the travel lodge is the first and second story, and they made you go down like into a basement.
That's not out of the realm of possibilities. But yes, so hey, I am staying at this place, sir. I would be if I was worked at Suki's. I'd be like, staying where? Oh, you mean the fucking thing upstairs?
Yeah.
Great. So anyway, he said he was joking. Said I don't belong in a bar if I don't understand joking. First rule of bars.
Yeah.
Got to be able to joke.
Yeah. Well, it's the second rule. First rule is you're supposed to be 21. Second
That
rule
too.
is got to be able to take a joke.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And then she just finished with so infuriating. That was it.
You ever been to like a crazy like high end bar and you wait at the door and the bouncer checks your ID and he's like, hey, can you take a joke? And you're like, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, you're in.
Yeah.
You're good.
No, really.
A buddy of mine never gets in because he's like, no. And
Can't
they're
do
like,
it.
"Man,
Too serious.
Yeah, no, can't go in.
I'm here to be real.
Yeah, my dad never been in a bar because they're like, can you take a joke? And he's like, no, Jesus, no.
Or no, he's more like a Polak of, and you're like, no, Dad, no.
He's like, I can joke if it's about minorities. Okay, no.
We had a live show last week.
We did, which I had a blast with.
It was a lot of fun. Want to thank everybody who showed up for the live stream. Really appreciate it. For those who sent in questions and well wishes, really appreciate that too. We did get a few audio clips, which were awesome. And I want to thank you again for pulling all that stuff together because I know that, all the technical stuff is on your side. So I appreciate you doing that and making sure that worked. And you always are trying like new little tricks and things to, make it present better, which I appreciate. And I know you kind of geek about it a little bit, but I do appreciate the fact that you do it. And thanks also to Annalise for being the third mic and the producer.
On the third
show.
mic. It's the mic and the third mic.
And managing the chat. That was great. But yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Well, thank you for saying so. I had a great time, and thank you for obviously inviting me on to Reasons Are Several, and for also showing up for the live show. I'm sorry we had some technical difficulties. I have found out that apparently Apple and Microsoft and Google are in a big argument right now. So apparently trying to use a Mac with a Microsoft product on a Google product was not my brightest idea ever. So now that I know. But yeah, it was a blast. I had a great time. I thought you did really, really well. Not that I didn't think you would, but I was a little concerned. I was a little concerned that you'd get a little distracted and not have as much fun, but it seemed like you were having a good time. I definitely think Annalise helped that because you knew that she wasn't going to let anything get by that we shouldn't know about. So.
Yeah, I had it up on the side here, and I would kind of give it a little glance every now and again just to see if there was anything of note. But for the most part, I just tried to focus on the chat.
Yeah, it's
conversation.
Right. It does work where, and like I told Annalise, it's like just ignore it. People will entertain themselves in there.
Right.
If there's something super important, those that know how to highlight our names will do that and say, otherwise no one's getting upset. No, hey, you see me getting upset? See Annalise getting upset? But I had a blast. I very much appreciate you willing to do the live show because I know, again, it's not your favorite, but I thought we kind of killed it.
It's good as a one-off. It's definitely a different vibe from a regular podcast. Your guys' podcast now has taken on that form, of course, but for me, it's just a different vibe. And so it's fun to do just as, the occasional once or twice a year thing, but to do it regularly, I don't know how you guys do it regularly. It would distract me so much. I'd have a hell of a time having a conversation.
Well, there is two things about it. One is that we've always done our live show. So we've never edited. So we never have that thought of like, oh, we have to break. I do think that creeps into the mentality of it a little bit. The other part is I don't get wrapped up in the chat as much as Annalise maybe does. So I'm okay. And we're okay like with me saying like, hey, don't freaking look at the chat. Look at me, lady. So right. Yeah, and we're also not a show that has any focus anyway. So it's not like, oh, they didn't get to this or they didn't get to that. Right. We haven't done the weather in God knows how long.
But she's just chatting about stuff.
Yeah.
You gave up the Fave 5 long ago.
Long ago. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I don't have any favorites anymore, let alone 5.
No.
So
And if you have, you've shared them.
And
so
do we want to try and do a live from Oregon? I think that would be a blast.
We could try that.
I was thinking of instead of like maybe a live podcast, we just do a live us from Oregon. Like
that's what I was thinking.
Come and hang out. Ask some questions. We had a few drinks. Like we'll set it all kind of. So before Annalise and I, for those that didn't hear the catastrophe that was the last Dark Angels and Pretty Freak show, where I was might have had a few beverages. I set everything up before we went out.
I'm drunk as a motherfucker.
I set everything up so when we came back, all we had to do was sit down, and I just had to hit record. Like it was all up and on and ready to go. So we can do something like that where we'll go out and have fun. I was even thinking like if it's Friday night after the game or Saturday after we come back and just like reasons or several question and answer.
Yeah.
We just have
people I'm up
ask
for that
us.
for sure.
Yeah. All right, cool.
And then like you said, then we could still record our regular show and release that like a standard podcast.
Like an actual podcast.
I like that.
Yeah.
Next time, I think the next time we'll be doing it with the three of us together. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Will be for our live event, which we're still sorting out the dates. Probably going to be mid-July, I think. So we'll finalize those dates soon once we have schedules worked out, and then let people know what the timing is going to be like on that. And
we'll let you know.
I got to book my travel. What?
We'll let you know. We'll let you let us know. We'll let you know.
I will be in studio in Nepal.
In utero.
Yeah.
So. Do you guys do big plans for 4th of July?
We usually have people over and just just the kids and shit and light up some fireworks and stuff. Nothing crazy.
Cool, because I was just thinking since 4th is on a Thursday, that weekend would be kind of cool.
Yeah, I think it's probably going to be better to be the 13th or the 20th weekend. I just got to figure out which one.
I know why you're July 13th. That's Nine's birthday.
Must be it. Got to be there. Yeah, no, I think I just need to, I got to figure out what the summer camp schedule is for the homies, and also I believe Lady Friends got some family coming into town, so I just got to sort all that out, and then I'll let you know.
It's too bad. It's too bad you guys can't figure out a weekend here where Lady Friend and her friends have their wine thing going on, and you have your thing going on. So she can stay somewhere else. We don't, come on.
You'll meet her.
No, God, no, please no.
You're never gonna meet her.
No, she's going to make me do karaoke. I don't want that.
You were going to come into town and stay with us at one point. So don't put that on us.
That'll still happen.
All right.
That'll still happen. I just don't want to meet her when
the
we're there.
basement is open, bro.
We're there. I know. I'm going to bring my picture, though, so I can have two of them on the wall.
There you go. You mentioned In Utero earlier.
Yeah. Little Nirvana.
There was a tweet that was shared, and I'm totally forgetting who shared it. So I'm sorry. Somebody on Twitter shared it, and it was... What? Because obviously it was somebody on Twitter who shared a tweet.
I don't know. Right. It was somebody.
I'm just gonna go with redundancy here.
It was somebody on Instagram that shared it. I don't know.
It was a Twitter account on Twitter that tweeted it.
Yes,
to us.
And that's where I think I saw it.
Might have been a DM. No, it was a tweet.
No,
anyway,
it was a tweet.
So they shared this with us, and it was these clips of men in China doing experiencing childbirth pain, labor pains.
Right.
So it says. I found this little article that kind of leads into it. Men who have ever wondered what giving birth feels like can now experience it for themselves at Delivery Bar in China. At the shopping mall kiosk, which is great. You're just at a fucking kiosk in the middle of a shopping mall.
Yeah.
Men are strapped to machines that simulate the pain of labor and contractions. In the videos, the men who have a padded strap around their torso, holding them down, shriek in obvious pain as electrodes on their abdomen recreate the feeling of childbirth. In the background, onlookers stare and laugh in amusement. So you looked at these videos.
I did.
First of all, would you like to experience this pain?
No.
Neither would I.
Okay, and that's not to be rude. It's just like
no.
I don't know. It seems like I don't think I'd want anybody to experience the pain I have gone through with my brothers, be it male or female.
Sure.
I may want to experience this if my wife has had our children, or if my wife has had any children, and I was there for it. Or before, it might be interesting to have that empathy.
Yeah.
But like as me now, no, why would I want to do that? It's like, oh, we have this machine. It's going to make you feel like what it feels like to get punched in the face by Mike Tyson. No, I know it hurts. I'm really happy I didn't have to go through it. What are we doing?
It's like when people
what's going on here?
It's like when people purposely shock themselves on something. Like, oh, this is gonna hurt. Like, why? Why'd you do it?
Yeah, and I understand that there are like, well, people say, well, people run marathons and those cause pain, or people, work out.
Well, those people are just stupid.
Right. People drink a lot and that causes pain. Yeah, but this is this is like you're trying to simulate the pain, and this is what I don't like. Okay, I'm gonna go off. There's a few things I don't like about it. One thing I don't like about it is like, first of all, when a person gives birth, it's not only the pain of giving the birth. They also those people, freaking women. Let me tell you about women.
Yeah. Hashtag them.
Hashtag them too. That's all I'm saying. They're also bringing life into the world. So I would like to think
there's a reward.
There's a huge reward and a huge personalization to that pain. Like, that gives you the right to smack the crap out of that kid for as long as you want. There's also the recovery of the body that goes on for a long time after that. There's also the boobies that are all swollen and hard and leaking and breast milk. Maybe that sounded a little creepy, but
this is where I should cut in and be like, Neil is not a doctor.
But there's all this going on, and so for a guy to put on some electromagnetic frickin' shock belt and get shocked and go, oh my God, I totally know what it's like to give birth. No, jackhole, you don't. You know what it's like to get punched in the stomach repeatedly. That's it.
Well, and you're only getting the labor contractions. You're not yet, like you said, you're not getting the feeling of the release point.
If you want a little bit of that, get yourself an inflatable butt plug and hook it up to a compressor, and then good luck, bro. Yeah, and then stitch it up after. All right.
Well, and the thing is too, it's more like, you could say, sure, maybe you'd have more empathy, I guess. But for me, it wasn't like I was ever sitting there with my lady friend going like, come on, you're kind of making a big deal out of this.
Right.
I mean, you got drugs in you.
Hey, you see me whining? You see the doctor whining? You see the nurse whining?
It's not like you're doing like natural in a, bathtub.
Or you just do that, the very respectful, just put your hand right over her face while she's on the bed. Just shh. Come on.
Stop.
Yeah.
Let it go. Yeah. Fight the pain. Hold back the tears. Yeah. No.
Glad I brought this cooler of Bud Light.
But the videos are funny. The first guy literally sounds like he's being tortured.
Yes.
The second guy, the second clip shows 4 guys, and it sounds like the first guy it sounds like a ghost shrieking. He's like going,
yeah.
But the best one is the third guy, because he's laying on a couch, and there's a bunch of like weird pillows up above his head, and then he like...
So it's supposed to be like a baby room? Is that what that is?
I don't know what that's supposed to be, but he's screaming, and they're all laughing at him, and he's screaming, and I don't understand his language, but clearly it's something along the lines of, fucking turn it off.
Yeah.
And then he pulls like the pillow above his head and looks at it and goes like, oh no, and then he reaches behind his back and pulls out a rubber chicken.
Looks like he's pulling it out of his butt.
Yeah. And then he holds it up almost triumphantly, and then the clip ends. It's like, what is up with the rubber chicken? Like, maybe that was the problem.
Maybe that's
the sign you've given the birth?
Yeah, maybe if you find the rubber chicken,
then they turn it off.
Terrible.
Find the rubber chicken.
Yeah.
That is what childbirth is about.
Although there was the one guy at the last clip was the one guy who was very emotional, and he went and he hugged who I assume is his wife or his mother,
right?
And was like, "Oh, holy hell!" So that's where I think it could be. Honestly, what I think it might even be more empathetic is, the pregnancy suits that, well, anybody could wear, but the person who isn't pregnant could wear that, like, has the weight of the baby.
Yeah.
And it pulls you forward so it hurts you. But, like, do that for a couple weeks, and I think you'll be like, oh, okay. Anything to make guys not dicks, I'm into. Yeah.
I mean, obviously women experience pregnancies differently. My lady friend was horribly ill with both.
Right.
Which is something I remind them of constantly. Yeah. You should have seen Mom while you guys were
so a lot of like morning sickness, afternoon sickness, evening sickness?
Sickness all the time.
Right.
All the time. And all the way.
Oh, really?
Yep.
How did you know she was you were there?
I was there. I was present.
So you sure it wasn't like maybe she saw you and she was like,
no, it wasn't me. Yeah. It was the baby.
That joke was so much funnier in my head.
Yeah, it didn't land. It's fine.
Not at all. It didn't even land with me. I'm like, nah, it was lame.
Just another dig at me. I understand.
I tried.
This just goes to show that if men had to give birth to children, the human race would die out because we're wussies and we would never do it.
Yeah, I mean, well,
women are tougher.
I agree with that. I think it would be cool if both men and women could give birth, so that way, depending on the relationship and the couple, because maybe there's a woman that for medical reasons it's not great for her to carry a baby, so then the husband can. But I think if
she can't carry.
Or she can't. I think, or there's two men or two ladies and they could carry their own baby. Obviously, a lady could, but you know what I mean? Like they're actually their own baby, all of it, 100% without any sort of help.
Yeah, with a lesbian couple, it's always interesting because you wonder how that conversation goes. Is it like, so are you going to, are you?
Right.
Oh, you're going to do it? Sweet.
Yeah. High five. Yeah.
You'll carry the next one, right?
There's no next one. We'll
talk about it when we get there.
Yeah. Oh, of course I will. Of course I will. Yeah. Right. It's like, oh no, you first. Okay, cool.
Yeah, you go first.
Yeah. Oh no.
Yeah. See, your body's already messed up. Just
guys trying to convince their wives or girlfriends with anal sex. No, you go first. Then, that didn't work. Now I'm good. I'm done. Because then I do feel that men would be more empathetic to that pain and also I think men would then have a greater respect for life because of actually bringing life into the world and feeling what that's like and having your body go through all of that, not only, like I said earlier, but not only till the baby is born, but afterwards and feeding the baby and doing, if you can, that doesn't mean you're not, it's not a bad thing if you're not a person who can breastfeed, but I'm just saying your body's going through all of that most of the time anyway. And I think guys that experience that would be like, maybe we should be a little cooler to each other.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Because the hormones and the emotions involved are outrageous.
But that's the other thing. Could you imagine dudes going through that? They wouldn't know how to handle it.
Have you seen guys when they're sick?
Have you seen guys when their Super Bowl team loses the Super Bowl? Super Bowl team. Their football team. I have a Super Bowl team. Just one. I mean, those crazy statistics that if the home team loses a football game, that domestic violence in that city spikes. That's insane.
But if they win, pregnancies go up, or?
Well, there is the Super Bowl.
More cars get flipped over.
No, there is the Super Bowl baby bump. Like whatever city wins the Super Bowl, 9 months later, there's a lot of pregnancies in that. Guys are stupid.
Guys suck.
Yeah. And the poor wives or girlfriends that are like, oh, you're going to be nice to me tonight because the freaking Patriots won. I mean, I don't know what Annalise goes through. I guess she likes it. The Patriots win a lot. So she knows. She's good.
Oh, my lady friend definitely, I mean, she wants the Ducks to win regardless, but it's an added bonus because I'll be in a much, much better mood.
Could you imagine being the wife or husband of a Tampa Bay Buck fan or something like that?
No, I think those people have to be a little more rooted in reality, though, and they have to understand that their team's going to lose a lot.
Yeah.
So maybe they're easier to deal with.
Maybe.
Anyway, Neil, let me ask you this.
Yeah, please do.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
For real? We'll be here for a while. I think about this stuff a lot. Remember, I'm insane.
You can answer if you want. It was more of a joke question because I was going to get into
try it again.
Okay. Neil?
Yes.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Just doing this podcast and loving you the best that I can.
Oh, good answer. Are you a fan of job interviews?
Oh, God, no.
I don't think anybody really is.
No.
Yeah, they're very stressful. Sometimes they're tedious because they ask you ridiculous questions.
Yeah, and I'm one of those that does research on how to answer all those what's your biggest weakness? Mm-hmm. That's a tricky one. So
right.
I've done the research on
That's when you always say perfectionist.
Right, and they're like, don't ever say anything like that. Yeah. So no, I'm not a fan, but I am a fan of talking about myself. So it's a push-pull thing that I got going on.
Well, you like pushing and pulling, so that works.
I do.
But this article I found, her name is Tengai. Tengai.
One better than a 9 guy.
Better than a 9 guy. This is the new version. Measuring 16 inches tall and weighing about 8 pounds, she's at eye level as she sits on top of a table directly across from the candidate she's about to interview. Her glowing yellow face tilts slightly to the side, which is something we always jokingly refer to as the HR head tilt. That's when they're about to give you bad news, like, your position's been eliminated. Then she blinks and smiles lightly as she poses her first question. Quote, have you ever been interviewed by a robot before? Oh, no.
Oh, Jesus.
Tengai is the brain. It's gonna be hard to say that. Is the brainchild of Fur Hat Robotics.
Oh, geez.
An AI and social robotics company. The firm has spent the past 4 years building a human-like computer interface that mimics the way we speak, as well as our subtle facial expressions. The idea, according to Chief Scientist Gabriel Scancy, is that it feels much less scary or strange compared to a more traditional robot. Does it?
No.
Look at that thing.
No.
Does that make you feel any better?
No.
It's a fucking bust.
Yes.
Sitting on a table.
No.
Okay. If you turn your volume down, click the video and watch the thing move a little bit. Okay. The goal is to offer candidates job interviews that are free from any of the unconscious biases that managers and recruiters can often bring to the hiring process while still making the experience, quote, seem human.
But why would you want to get rid of the biases? Because don't you want to learn about those so you can interview, so you can play the system a little better?
Well, you could make that argument.
Yeah.
But what I'm thinking is, I mean, I'm all for eliminating or at least as much as you can limiting biases because it's hard to totally eliminate biases.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
But how human can the experience feel when you're talking to a bust on a table in front of you is asking you robotic questions? There's no human connection.
True, but however, it can feel the same way as being in an interview because sometimes those people are staring at you like they're a bust on the table.
Sometimes they're a bit stiff. Yeah. That's true.
But yeah, that's weird.
Unconscious biases include making assumptions about someone's competence based on gender, ethnicity, voice, education, appearance, or as a result of informal conversations before or after an interview. For example, if I ask you a question at the beginning of the process, like, do you play golf? And you say, yes, I do. I love playing golf. And I do too. Then in some way, I will put that in a positive box.
Right.
Well, wait a minute. I need that.
Yeah.
I need those wins.
Well, what's also funny is like
I'm never going to get a job now.
It can go the other way where you can say like, are you a Nazi sympathizer? And the person goes, absolutely. Well, you put that in a box too. And you're like, okay. So
that would be great. They should ask you questions like that just to see your reaction. It's almost like the NFL Combine questions, which I forgot to pull this year. But,
there's some good. But they asked one person, do you have both testicles?
They did?
Yeah.
Oh, God. I saw one. Didn't they do a staring contest with one guy? Come on. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Tengai, by contrast, doesn't engage in pre-interview chit-chat and poses all questions in an identical way, in the same tone, and typically in the same order. This is thought to create a fairer and more objective interview. So again, you're cutting out the human connection piece, and I know that competence and skill are really important, of course, to the job because you want to make sure they can do the job.
Right.
But the chemistry that person is going to have with the other people on the team and with the company is important. Like, you need to know that these people are going to be a good cultural fit, not just somebody who can actually perform the tasks.
Yes. However, it's not okay to say that anymore because good cultural fit means like, are you a Christian? Oh, you are?
Well,
cool. Oh, you're a Muslim. Oh, yeah.
But it's not that cultural.
I understand.
That's not what I'm talking about.
No, I know. You mean like how everybody gets along. But
the work culture of the organization. Because some places are really competitive. Some places are really laid back. Some places, just do things differently. And so you can usually tell. Like, I mean, I've been at my company for a long time. And when we're interviewing people, you can just kind of tell, like, if a person's going to just fucking hate it at our work culture or they're going to enjoy it, if they're going to get along with the team, et cetera. You can kind of read those things from that interview.
Oh, I agree 100%, but I can see where it's dangerous because what questions we might think would show that or what we would ask or hope for, somebody else might think like, well, no, I want to know these things because that's our culture at our job. Like the culture at your job is probably healthy and competitive, again, in a healthy way, and everybody helps each other. But there are jobs where somebody says, oh, no, I only want a candidate that looks like X and believes in X because that's our culture here. We all go to church on Sunday.
Yeah, I guess you could say that. I was thinking of culture in the form of the actual work culture, not what you do outside of it. What
Well, sure, but like if you're
people's beliefs
at work, I would imagine you guys. I know some things are a little different for you, but I would imagine you have some conversations of things you also do outside of work.
Sure.
And you'll probably find a consensus that things overlap with people, like whether it's like, oh, I like to golf, or I like to go out with my friends, or I like this, or I like that, blah, 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 blah.
I like to sing karaoke at a dive bar.
I like to sing karaoke. Now, if there's a culture where it's like, no, we like these specific things, but because of someone's religion or sexual identity or whatever, they don't do those. Not because they're against it. They're just not what they do.
I get what you're saying.
That all of a sudden it's like, oh, you don't fit in our culture. And it's like, well, no, that person still can.
Right.
It's just you have to be open to that. So I can see where it could be a little...
No, I understand that. And I don't think you're making that decision just based on one particular thing or another, but you get usually a pretty good feel in those interviews of kind of somebody's personality. I mean, granted, people can be nervous.
Sure.
People can act a little differently than they would once they're in the work environment and all that kind of stuff. But I mean, that's kind of what you have to go on. So if all you're doing, because what it says here is, recruiters or managers are then given text transcripts of each interview to help them decide which candidate should move to the next stage of the process based on the answers alone. So see, if you're just reading text of a person's answers to interview questions, you get 0 out of them other than, well, maybe they just know how to fucking throw good sound bites out. But really, if you sat in a room and talked to them and tried to have a conversation with them, you can tell a lot more from that.
So one of my recent interview experiences, that's kind of how it works. You get interviewed by a panel. Mm-hmm. Because it's not recorded, but what they perceive to be your answers gets transcribed. And then anybody who's looking to fill this certain position gets to go back and read what the interview was like. Now, as you know...
Why did this guy start talking about dildos in the middle of his interview?
As you know, you can say something, but when you read it, it doesn't...
Oh, tone is a huge part of it.
Yeah. So it's really interesting, too, with this where... Yeah, you need to see the person too. I mean, sure, because you can see nervousness and you can hear nervousness and you can sense somebody, like you might have the person might have a connection with you off of something you never thought you'd be connected with. Like they're like, oh, like for your job, for instance, if you're like, hey, do you like numbers? Let's say you were interviewing me and you're like, numbers. I'm a big finance guy, and I'm like, I haven't worked a lot with finance, but I play guitar and the scales, they're all numbers. And the way I remember notes is by number. Now you might think like,
boom,
oh, that's connection. But if someone else was to read it, they're like, why the fuck is this guy talking about scales and guitars?
Yeah, right.
Doesn't he didn't know what he was talking about and he was reaching. But
yeah, you're just reading it cold.
In our conversation,
it makes sense.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. And so and it goes on to talk about how it's good for screening large groups, which that's probably the only way I could see this being useful is if you're trying to get like a pool of 200 candidates down to 40 or whatever, or 20, then maybe, yes, that's a good first
Christmas
pre-screen.
hire
because
at the
recruiters
Amazon.
Do that now when they do phone calls and stuff like that. They narrow that pool down.
Or Christmas hire at like the Amazon warehouse where you need to hire a ton of people and you just want to weed out the people that you know. Right. They're like, hey,
all the red flag questions.
Can you work for a really low wage but do a lot of a lot of work in a short amount of time for hardly any pay and not take bathroom breaks? Because there's probably a lot of
benefits.
Bunch of people that are like, fuck no. And they're like, well, we just lost 90%.
Yeah. How do you feel about robots and bear repellent?
Yeah. If you were killed by a robot, do you think your family would sue?
Would you respond in any way to the robot?
Yeah. Oh,
because the robot's more expensive than you are.
My parents actually died in a Amazon drone delivery experiment that went awry. Oh, you're perfect.
See, that's a good way to get off jury duty right there.
That's it.
At first, I really, really felt it was a robot. This person's talking about this experience. But when going more deeply into the interview, I totally forgot that she's not human. Bullshit.
Half the time, I don't even know if you're human.
How do you forget when you're talking to a fucking 16-inch bust that you're not talking to a person?
Yeah. If you're talking to a 16-inch anything and it's not Tommy Lee, then it's a robot.
And then it starts talking about how, robots are programmed by humans, and so they can learn from different human behavior. So they could, inherit some of the biases of the humans, which this is something that comes up all the time,
right?
With, algorithms that people design, is that they don't know they're putting their own biases into that algorithm. And then I can't remember what company it was, but it may have been Amazon, where they were accidentally biased toward women because of the way they built the algorithm.
Yeah.
And so that's something you have to be concerned about. So it said, one of their ways they're dealing with that is it's learning from several different recruiters, so it doesn't pick up any specific behavior of one recruiter. So the biases of the robot are very diverse.
Right.
It might be racist and sexist.
Yeah, it is true because we all obviously have biases that are, and some of them can be like so weird. Like your favorite athlete could be endorsed by Nike, and the person walks in wearing a suit made by Adidas or Under Armour. Yeah.
The goal is that she will eventually be sophisticated enough to decide for herself whether a candidate can move forward to the next stage of recruitment, avoiding the need for a human to review interview transcripts.
Right.
Yep. Just let Tengai make the whole call there. That's a good idea. A growing number of AI tools and technologies are being tested around the world in the field of recruitment. So there's a couple they mentioned. HireVue, which is a US-based video platform that enables candidates to be interviewed at any time of day and uses algorithms to evaluate their answers and facial expressions.
Oh, gosh.
Now, granted, you can have your facial expressions analyzed by a human while you're talking to them.
Right.
But just thinking about a computer gathering that data on you while you're talking, you'd be so fucking self-conscious about it.
Yeah, isn't there something that I don't know your experience with interviewing people, but isn't there something when someone walks in and they're almost too perfect that you're like, okay, there's something a little weird about that.
Something's wrong here.
Yeah, like there's such a good interview.
Some people are very good at interviews.
Sure, some people are really good
at
testing.
And you look at their resume sometimes and you go, 9 months, 1 year, 18 months. Like they're just bouncing and bouncing and bouncing.
Yeah.
It's like, something's going on there.
Yeah.
SeedLink, which sounds like a sperm donation center or something, asks candidates to answer questions on their smartphones and analyzes their language to see if they're the right cultural fit for a role. So see, my dad would never get a job.
Oh, no.
My dad would be sitting there looking at his phone going like, this goddamn thing, I can't get the volume to fucking work. You know how many times I call that man and he goes, I didn't even hear the phone ring.
That's great.
Somehow the volume got turned down.
We should have my dad call your dad and see what happens.
Oh, it's so funny. It happens all the time. It's so funny. You texted me? I didn't even get that. But some have, this is almost over. Some have some professionals have concerns, like this guy. Dr. Malin Lindelow, a Swedish psychologist who specializes in recruitment, says, quote, recruiting is very much a leap of faith. It's a huge investment. It's a huge commitment. And you need to believe in the decision that you make. I find it very difficult to believe that recruiting managers will rely on a robot.
Yeah.
She also points out that interviews, especially those in sectors where there's a skills shortage, can be as much about job seekers deciding whether or not they want to work for a company as the reverse. Great point.
Absolutely.
You stick a fucking bust of a robot on a table, you might get people who are like, are you fucking kidding me?
No.
I'm out of here.
Yeah. And if you know you have a skill set, a unique skill set that the employer wants, and you're also maybe have other opportunities, as was said, and you walk in there and you're all of a sudden, it's like you're being drafted. You're like, no. I want a little respect here. I want somebody from the freaking company that gives a rat's butt about this company to talk to me.
Yeah.
Damn it.
You're giving me the 16-inch robot. Why?
Yeah. Why?
I mean, at least give me the 9-inch.
Yeah.
Let's make it a little more pleasant. Anyway, they did say, by the way, that Tengai is only available in Swedish at the moment, but they're expected to roll out English language versions early next year. So look forward to that.
Yeah.
I wanted to mention really quickly, have you got anything from DontGoTopless.Store yet? Our merch store?
Have I purchased? I have purchased. I purchased the Reasons Are Several 5-year anniversary shirt. And I got myself a free This Is the Guy with a Mouth shirt.
That
Mouth
would be a
guy.
better name.
Yeah.
That show is supposed to launch here in a few weeks.
I know.
I think it's like 2 weeks from Monday or something.
I don't know how it's not going to launch without me being on the first show. I don't know what's going on here.
I don't know. What do you think?
Do they not know my nickname was Episode 1? Do they not know?
Episode 0.
Episode 0. I like how I'm like, do they? All the freaking the people at corporate, do they not know?
I'm out. Yes. So I also ordered. I think I got one of our regular green shirts. I got the anniversary shirt, and I also got a My Hot Pulsing Mouth shirt or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
And so go out and do
Hot
that,
throbbing
folks. Yeah. Orders are being fulfilled literally as we speak. So go get yourself some gear. We joked about fatheads, by the way.
Yeah.
And also I mentioned bobbleheads, I think, when we talked about it last week. Did you know you can get a dildo with a bobblehead attached to it? And I mean a personalized bobblehead. You could get a dildo of your face that's attached. So basically what it is there's the bobblehead, and it's kind of got a tiny little body that's underneath it, and then from like its chest shoots out the dildo.
Oh, I got you. I was concerned that the little bobblehead was on top. I'm like, that could break off and get stuck.
So if you were a woman, let's say, and you were, on your back using the dildo, you would see the face coming at you.
I like it.
The company is called Wobbly.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. How did you find this out?
Oh, I found this on I think I found it on the Metro, whatever that site is, metro.co.uk.
So you were seeking out one of these things?
Sometimes I go check out some of their random shit, and I found that. I just thought it was hilarious. Goodness. It's called the Wobbly Willy. So you take a picture of it says take a picture of your partner or yourself if you're going to give it as a gift. But you have to take a bunch of different pictures so they can get, the 3D image of your head. And then they make the bobblehead out of polymer clay and attach it to the end of the dildo. And you can also, I think it bounces around not quite as crazy as a normal bobblehead, but it does, move around a little bit. And you can also take the head off.
Okay.
Or you can get just the head and no dildo. Like, well, what the?
All right.
It's $100, but plus $25 to ship anywhere internationally. So
that's not bad.
Maybe domestic, it's a little closer. But yeah, $100 for a personalized bobblehead dildo.
That's not bad at all. I know what I'm getting for everyone for Christmas this year. I bet they have I bet if you get more than a couple, you get a discount.
Can we sell those, Casey, on our store? Because you know what happened? It would turn into a competition. Who sold more, Neil heads or Matt heads?
Well, it would be scary because my head's so big that the freaking dildo would be gigantic. However, I could just
it'd be like a tickler.
I would imagine Casey's like, yeah, we can do that. And he just buys a bunch of dildo and just draws our faces on them. He's like, there you go. Here you go.
Good enough?
Yeah.
It doesn't say the name of your show anywhere, though.
Dickheads anywhere.
Okay.
Yeah, anywhere.
No, but please go out and buy some gear if you'd like to support the show. That'd be great. That's it. That's all we have for this week. So thanks for listening to our show. You can find us at reasonsareseveral.com. Please go review the show. I kind of put my money where my mouth is because I went out and looked at a bunch of different shows that I listened to, and I was like, you know what? I never wrote reviews for these people. And here I am asking for people to write reviews.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm going to go fucking do it. So I went out and wrote a bunch of reviews for people. And so you should do that. If you listen to shows and you like the show, go write a review. I should probably
do that. I haven't written a review in a long time.
No, you did write a review for our show. It's hilarious.
Is it good?
Well, you're like, these two good-looking guys.
Did I really? That's great.
It's hilarious. I would say 2/3 of every podcast, like indie podcast, when I go look at the reviews, they've reviewed themselves and make it sound like they're somebody else.
Oh, that's great.
Like, come on, I know you're.
That's awesome.
It's pretty funny. But yeah, please go review the show if you would. Also, go check out Dark Angels and Pretty Freaks, Neil's other podcast, celebrating 5 years of podcasting.
That's
next
right.
week.
It's coming up this weekend. Yeah, Saturday.
That's exciting. Are you doing anything? Do you want people to send you any notes of encouragement?
If they want, we haven't really publicized it, as we never really have our. We did our 1 year a bit, but if anyone wants to send anything to Dark Angels and Pretty Freaks for a 5 year, you can go to darkangelsandprettyfreaks.com or just email to darkangelsandprettyfreaks@gmail.com.
Now, you used to have a tradition on the show that every anniversary you would do a Fave 5 actors.
Holy shit, son. We got to do that.
So I don't know if you want to keep that going because
that's kind of fun.
The Fave 5, but
but that's kind of fun. Yeah, because
I'm just here to help.
I like it. I gotta let Annalise know. I've been texting her for a while and she's not answering me.
Oh no. She found that bobblehead. She got that bobblehead. She doesn't need you anymore.
Yeah.
Also, go check out Halos and Heathens vlog on YouTube and tweet at us at ReasonsAre, at AngelsFreak7. You can email us at reasonsareseveral@gmail.com. We'll be back next week.
Bye, Matador.
Bye.